Let's draw attention to Psalm 107 today and look at four groups of people experiencing different troubles in their lives and how God's help reached them in the hour of need. Psalm 107, first group, were wanderers in verses 4 to 9. People wandering through life trying to find their way, living in wasteland, hungry, thirsty, unsatisfied, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Second group were prisoners, depressed and living in gloom. Circumstances have closed on them, financial woes, relationship breakdowns. They see no way out. In verse 11, specifically says that they have got themselves in the mess, for they have rebelled against the word of God and despised the counsel of the Most High. Next group, verse 17. Fools. Some became fools. How? Through their rebellious ways and suffered affliction because of their iniquities. Fourth group, merchants. These are the last group in verses 23 to 32. These people are people who are just busy making a living. They're not doing anything overtly wrong, except that they forget the most important thing of all, the relationship with God. So when trouble comes, they really feel the whole thing is unfair. And they have one question going on and on. What did I do to deserve all this? But they don't realize that, like Jonah, they are headed in the wrong direction, and God's work in their life is to lead them in the way that they ought to go. Let's look at verse 43 of the psalm, which reads, "Whoever is wise, let him heed these things." What things? There's a pattern that runs throughout the psalm, and it's spelled out in regard to each group, and it teaches us how to deal with trouble when it comes into our lives. If you have noticed that each group had their own way, they had their own chosen path, and each group experienced a different kind of trouble. Troubles in each case were different, but the solution was the same. What was the solution? Desperate prayer. Verses 6, 13, 19, and 28 we read that they cried in the Lord to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distresses. These troubles were God sent. Psalm 107, verse 25, we know that God sent the stormy winds. So trouble was a call to prayer, and prayer is the pathway to knowing God. And knowing God is more valuable than living a trouble free life. This is what verse 43 is trying to help us to see. It is loving kindness of God that He used these troubles to drive us to Him. And the loving kindness of God is not just delivering you and me out of trouble, but a personal transformation and greater revelation of God in our lives. This experience will lead us to worship Him. Psalm 107, verse 15 reads, "Oh, that men would give thanks to the Lord for His goodness and for His wonderful works to the children of men." Genuine worship is birthed in our hearts through troubles. So let's not complain for the troubles, but seek Him and worship Him. Be blessed.